Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today we are going to discuss about grid computing technology. In grid computing technology, most of the users gain access to computer resources that is processor, storage, data, application, networking concept, etc. and etc. as needed with little or no knowledge of where those resources are located and what the underlying technologies they are using, what kind of hardwares they are using, what kind of operating system they are using, etc. and etc. We don't know anything, but we are using grid computing and cloud computing. Grid computing links together computing resources. Okay, resources means the resources may be PCs, the resources may be workstations, the resources may be servers, the resources may be storage elements, and provides the mechanism needed to access them. What is grid computing actually? Grid computing can be defined as a network of computers working together to perform a task that would rather be difficult for a single machine. All machines on the network work under the same protocol to act like a virtual supercomputer. So, we already told you grid computing is a network of computers working together. So, it acts as a virtual supercomputer. All the computers are working together to work like a virtual supercomputer. Grid computing is a subset of distributed computing, where a virtual supercomputer comprises of machines on a network connected by a bus, mostly Ethernet or sometimes the Internet. What is grid computing actually? Instead of using centralized computer to solve computational problems, a parallel and distributed computing system uses multiple computers to solve large scale problems over the internet. That is called grid computing. Grid computing is a service for sharing computer power, data storage capacity over the internet. Why we need to use grid computing? In large scale science and engineering are done through the interaction of heterogeneous computing resources. Because I am using Windows, some people are using Ubuntu, some people are using Linux, or other people are using Android. So large scale science and engineering are done through the interaction of heterogeneous computing resources, information systems, and instruments which are geographically and organizationally dispersed. The overall motivation for grid is to facilitate the interaction of these resources in order to support large scale science and engineering. It is highly user friendly and mature web technology. Okay, if you are a grid user, okay, if you are a cloud user, no need of training, no need of any training, you can use directly the grid technology and grid computing. So that's why we all should learn grid computing and cloud computing. Grid computing provides via the grid to remote resources of millions of PCs from anywhere to anybody. Who needs grid computing? The amount of data they need is huge, and the data is stored in different institutions. They should learn grid computing. The amount of similar calculations the scientist has to do is huge. He needs grid computing. All the government sectors they need grid computing technology. Business peoples, business persons, business they need grid computing. In education sector they need grid computing. Business, industrial persons, industrials, in the industrialist, in all the industries they should migrate it to grid computing because of their applications, because of their need, because of handling large amount of data, because of handling the data again and again. So these kind of people should learn, should understand, should use the grid computing. Working procedure of grid computing. A grid computing network mainly consists of three types of machines, namely control node, provider node, and last user node. What about control node? A computer, usually a server or a group of servers, which administrate the whole network and keeps the account of the resources in the network pool. You already aware of this? When a computer makes a request for resources to the control node gives user access to resources available on the network. When it is not used, it should ideally contribute its resources to the network. Hence, a normal computer on the node can swing in between being a user or a provider based on its needs. The nodes may consist of machines with similar platforms using same operating system called homogeneous networks, else machines with different platforms running on various different operating systems called heterogeneous networks. This is the distinguishing part of grid computing from other distributed computing architectures. For controlling the network and its resources, we need a software or a networking protocol or a hardware is used generally known as middleware. This is responsible for administrating the network and the control nodes are merely its executors. As a grid computing system should use only unused resources of a computer, it is the job of control node that any provider is not overloaded with tasks. Another job of the middleware is to authorize any process that is being executed on the network. In a grid computing system, a provider gives a permission to the user to run anything on its computer. Hence, it is a huge security threat for the network. Hence, a middleware should ensure that there is no unwanted task being executed on the network. Grid computing is viewed as a distributed collaborative network. So this diagram represents the grid computing working procedure. In the center of the diagram, control node placed in the center of the diagram. It controls all the systems connected with it. Here, n number of systems or n number of group of systems connected with the control node. The systems are heterogeneous systems. Here, this system used Mac OS, this system used Linux operating system, this system used Windows operating system, someone used Ubuntu, someone is Debian, someone is Linux Mint. So, grid computing supports heterogeneous as well as homogeneous systems. Now we are going to discuss about distributed versus grid computing technology. Grid computing is an evaluation of distributed computing. It is a dynamic computing. It is geographically independent. It builds around standards. Okay, mainly internet is a backbone of grid computing. What about distributed? Distributed computing is an older version or older term of grid computing, typically built around proprietary software and the network. Actually, distributed computing it is a tightly coupled systems, okay, or organizations. Next, we are going to discuss about criteria for grid computing. Grid computing coordinates resources that are not subject to centralized control. That is a main criteria in grid computing. Second one, grid computing uses standards. It is built around software. It is built around the standards. Definitely, it is open to all. It is general purpose protocols and interfaces. In grid computing, general purpose protocols they are using, general purpose interfaces they are using, they are using standards. It is open to all. It delivers non-trivial qualities of services. Example, response time, throughput, availability and security. Next we are going to discuss about grid topology. In grid topology, a number of topologies are available in a market, but three topologies they are mostly used in a market. First one is intragrid topology, second one is extragrid topology, third one is intergrid topology. What about intragrid? What about extragrid? What about intergrid? We'll see one by one. First one intragrid topology. In this topology we have to use this topology within an organization. Okay, local grid within an organization like LAN setup. It uses Single cluster organization. Trust based on personal contract, not based on the computer, not based on the certificate. Within an organization, trust based on purely on personal contract. Okay, not based on business contract, not based on certification. Okay, it is purely based on personal contract. This diagram represents a typical grid intragrid architecture. Intragrid architecture. A typical intragrid topology exists within a single organization providing a basic set of grid services. Here, a number of systems are interconnected with each other through this intragrid topology. Next one is extragrid topology, multiple organization. In intragrid topology, we can allow multiple organizations to communicate with each other to share the resources with each other. Resources of organization connected through a virtual private network VPN. For example, Bharat University is here. One more organization, one of the organization of Bharat institution is placed in a different location. We are using extra grid topologies. We can interact with each other, we can share the resources, we can do anything, we can communicate with each other with help of extra grid topology. It uses multiple clusters. It uses multiple clusters. These are all the points covered in extra grid topology. So this diagram represent extra grid topology. Here this is one organization, this is one organization. So each and every organization communicated and connected with the extra grid topology. So last topology is intergrid topology. In intergrid topology, global sharing of resources through the internet. In this topology, they are using internet instead of VPN, instead of personal contract. Here they are using internet. Many multiple clusters are allowable in this topology. Trust based on certification. Okay, that means certification means if you are an authorized user, if you are a authenticated user, then only you can share the resources, then only you can access the resources involving in the grid computing. So this diagram represents intergrid topology. Here through internet, all the organizations, all the persons are involving to sharing the resources and accessing the resources. Next, we are going to discuss about types of grid computing. There are two types of grid computing. One is computational grid, another one is data grid. In computational grid, is a hardware and software infrastructure that provides dependable, consistent, pervasive, and inexpensive access to high-end computational capabilities. The grid, the blueprint for a new computing infrastructure, Kesselman's and Foster said. So this is statement of Kesselman's and Foster. Example, science grid, it uses in US Department of Energy. So next type is data grid. In a data grid is a grid computing system that deals with only about data. The controlled sharing and management of large amount of distributed data. So it deals with only data, not about software, not about hardware. Data grid is a storage component of a grid environment. Scientific and engineering applications require access to a large amount of data, and often this data is widely distributed. A data grid provides seamless access to local or remote data required to complete intensive calculations. Example, Biomedical Informatics Research Network BIRN, the Southern California Earthquake Center, they are using this type of grid computers. Next, we are going to discuss about current grid activities. Initially, the grid computing activities were in the areas of computing power, data access, and storage resources. Sharing of resources can be different in present grid. Computing power, data, hardware, software, at last network services. Nowadays, grid computing shares computing power, shares data, shares hardware, shares software, at last shares networking services. Next, we are going to discuss about grid computing applications. Before going to learn about grid computing application, we need to learn some entities, that is scheduler, resource broker, load balancer, grid portals, integrated solutions. We need to know all the entities before going to learn grid applications. We'll see one by one. Grid applications partitioning that involves breaking the problem into discrete pieces. Okay, they have given a problem for execute the grid computing, partitioning the problem into discrete pieces. That means equal number of pieces. Discovery and scheduling of task and workflow. Grid computing discovery the task and schedule the task to particular resource. First, discovery the task and schedule the once the tasks are identified, then schedule the task, assign the task to particular users. Data communication distributing the problem data where and when it is required. Data communication distributing the problem data where and when it is being required. Provisioning and distributing application codes to specific system nodes. Results management assisting in the decision process of the environment. Autonomic features such as self-configuration, self-optimization, self-recovery and self-management. So these are all the step-by-step procedure involving in grid applications. I will repeat the statement again. You can get a clear picture about the grid application. The problem is divided into smaller pieces. Discovery the problem and scheduling the problem to concerned resources. Data communication distributing the problem data where and when it is being required. Provisioning and distributing the application codes to specific system nodes. Results management assisting in the decision process of the environment. Autonomic features such as self-configuration, self-optimization, self-recovery and self-management. These are all the step-by-step procedure involving in grid applications. First one, portal or user interface. Okay, there is a meaning in this name, portal or user interface. It is a gateway of grid computing organization. It is a gateway of grid computing organization. Grid portals are like the web portals. Okay, grid portals are like the portals. Grid portals provide the uniform access to the grid resources. Uniform access. Okay, I am a grid user. I want to access the resource or I want to share the resources. I have to travel via this portal or this user interface. So we called grid portals provide the uniform access to grid resources. Grid portals provide resource access, scheduling capabilities, monitoring status information. Grid portals or grid user interface provides three kinds of applications or three kinds of jobs. One is resource access, second one is scheduling the capabilities, third one is monitoring status information. Okay, we can access the resource access. Second one is scheduling the capabilities, third one is monitoring status information. Once the task is assigned to some particular system or that particular node or resources, via this user interface, via this portal, we can monitor the status. Either the task is completed, either the task need more time, the task need extra time to complete, the task need extra resources to complete. All the informations, all the status about the information is monitored via this portal or user interface. So this diagram represents the portal, web portal, this grid portal or grid user interface about grid applications. So via this is a gateway to enter into virtual computing resources. Virtual, that means grid computing resources. Second one is security, grid security infrastructure. In grid computing, we called it as GSI, grid security infrastructure. Heterogeneous nature of resources, complicated policies and complex security schemes. Security is very important in cloud computing as well as grid computing environment. Because I am using Windows in my system, security mechanism different, I am using security technique is different. Some other peoples are using some other platforms, they are using different kind of security mechanisms. So based, because of nature of resources, complicated policies, complicated security schemes, security is very very important in cloud environment as well as grid environment. These computing resources are hosted in differing security domains and heterogeneous platforms. We have no way, we need to deploy whatever whatever domain you have, whatever applications you have to deploy in the heterogeneous platforms. These computing resources are hosted in differing security domains and heterogeneous platforms. Security requirements, they are data integrity, confidentiality and information privacy. These are the security requirements, not only grid computing, in all the computer environment we need to satisfy, we need to achieve data integrity, confidentiality and information privacy. The grid computing data exchange must be protected using secure communication channels including SSL and TLS. In grid computing, they were used the IN security protocols to secure the data while exchange the resources, while exchange the data between the resources. Secure message exchange mechanisms. Okay, secure message exchange mechanism such as WS security. Security infrastructure, grid security infrastructure, they are using in grid computing environment. So we'll see one by one. What about SSL? SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. In short, it is the standard technology for keeping an internet connection secure and safeguarding any sensitive data that is being sent between two systems, preventing criminals from reading and modifying any information transferred, including potential personal details. This SSL protect your sensitive data while transferring, while exchanging the data between two systems. This SSL means Secure Socket Layer. Next one is TLS. TLS stands for Transport Layer Security. It is a successor protocol to SSL. TLS is an improved version of SSL. It works in much the same way as a SSL, using encryption to protect the transfer of data and information while exchange between two systems. Next one, GSI, Grid Security Infrastructure, formerly called Global Security Infrastructure. We can say Grid Security Infrastructure or either Global Security Infrastructure is a specification for secret, tamper-proof, delegatable communication between software in a grid computing environment. It is a specification for secret, tamper-proof, delegatable communication between software in a grid computing environment. Secure, authenticatable communication is enabled using asymmetric encryption. So this diagram represent GSI security. Okay, security is very very important, very very important. Not only single authentication, multiple authentication they are using in cloud computing as well as nowadays grid computing they are using multiple authentications. Okay, this diagram represent GSI. Here portal is a gateway of grid computing. So once you entered, GSI is there. So while transferring data, while exchanging data between the systems, okay, it is protecting your data. You are protecting your sensitive data while transferring the data between systems. Third one is resource broker. Okay, there is a meaning in that you want to access the resources or you want to share the resources. The broker will help to share, will help to access the resources. Resource broker, monitoring and discovery service. Monitoring and discovery service, it is one of the main service in grid computing, MDS. We called it shortly, we called it as MDS, monitoring and discovery services. The resource broker provides pairing services between the service requester and the service provider. For example, I need some resources, so I am a requester. Some people act as a provider. They have the resources to provide. They are ready to provide. So this resource broker placed in between a requester and a provider. This pairing enables the selection of best available resources from the service provider for the execution of the specific task. In front of me, n number of resources are there, n number of organizations are there, provide the resources. This brokering services, this middleware helps helps me to choose the best one. These resource broker collect informations, example, resource availability, usage models, capabilities, and pricing information from the respective resources and use this information resource in the pairing set. Not only it is used to choose the resources, it is used to collect the information. What kind of information? Users availability, resource availability. Okay, it shows the available resources in front of you. Usage models, a number of model it shows, a number of model it shows, capabilities and pricing information also it shows to requester. Okay, this diagram shows represent the resource broker. Okay, actually user, okay, you are a user, I am a user here, a number of resources are available. In between u1 resources, u1 organization, resource broker placed u1 the resources, a number of resources are there. It tells, it shows the available resources to user, okay, best users to user, pricing details, models, etc, etc, availability, all kind of information it shows to requester. Okay, MDS broker is there, user is there, in between requester and provider, broker placed in between them. Fourth one is scheduler. Scheduler is very very important, not only grid computing, in all the computing devices, all the computing environment, scheduling or scheduler is very very important. The main aim of task scheduling in grid computing is to increase system throughput, performance, and also to satisfy resource requirement of the task. The main aim of task scheduling in grid computing is to increase system throughput, performance, and also satisfy resource requirement of the task. Grid scheduler in grid computing environment is an application responsible for allocating the suitable resources to independent tasks to maximize the system utilization. That is very 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 important. Okay, grid scheduler in grid computing environment is an application responsible for allocating the suitable resources to independent tasks to maximize the system utilization. Schedulers are types of applications responsible for the management of jobs, such as allocating resources, partitioning the job, data management, event correlation, service level agreement. At last, these schedulers then form a hierarchical structure with meta schedulers that form a root and other lower level schedulers, while providing scientific specific scheduling capability that form the leaves. Schedulers allocating the resources to a specific job, partitioning the job into smaller unit, and also manage the data in event correlations and service level agreements. These are all the roles and responsibilities of schedulers. There are schedulers that must provide capabilities for areas such as advanced resource reservation, very very important, service level agreement validation and enforcement, job and resource policy management, monitoring job execution and status, rescheduling and corrective actions of partial failure situation. Okay, first we can take the first one, advanced resource reservation. I am going to do some task. I am going to do some task. I need some resources in advance. This scheduler reserve those resources in advance. Then service level agreement validation and enforcement. I have an agreement between the organization, between the provider, me and provider, some SLA is there. Some SLAs, for example, my SLA is valid for 1 year. Okay, in case that is going to expire, all the validation and enforcements all are under control of scheduler. Then job and resource policy management. Jobs are allocated, job allocation, job reservation, all are controlled by this scheduler. Monitoring the job execution and status. Some jobs are completed, some jobs are processing, These status, all the jobs processing status are under control of scheduler. Rescheduling and corrective actions of partial failure situation. For example, you want to withdraw money, unfortunately, uh, because of hardware failure or software failure, you can't withdraw money from ATM machine. So you need to execute the same job again. Okay, this job scheduler reschedule the job again in the particular resource. Okay, these are all the roles and responsibilities of scheduler. Okay, this diagram represent scheduler in grid applications. Okay, scheduler is there, local scheduler is there, meta scheduler is there, cluster scheduler is there, a number of type of schedulers are there. Based on your requirement, it reserves the resources in advance, it monitor the jobs, it allocate the job, everything is under control of scheduler. Here, okay, scheduler in placed between portal and broker. Portal and broker. So based on the availability, scheduler allocate the jobs to resources. Next one is load balancer. Load balancer is very important. Then only we can assign the job to resources. Then only we can assign the job to available resources. Then only we can identify the available resources, ideal resources. In a grid computing, load balancing plays a vital role in the reallocation of user jobs when the grid resources become overloaded. Once the resources are overloaded, once the resources are busy, we have to identify the ideal resources. With the help of load balancer, we can identify the ideal resources. In the past 5 years, scores of load balancing strategies have been proposed by the researchers to improve response time, communication overhead, throughput, and resource utilization. These load balancing features must always be integrated into any system in order to avoid processing delays, in order to avoid overcommitment of resources. So this diagram represents the load balancer involving in grid application. Grid load balancing, there are two kinds of load balancing: static load balancing, dynamic load balancing. Static load balancing again, uh, strategic with no support of task migration, strategic with support of task migration. Okay, in some case we can migrate the task in case some resources are not possible to complete, not possible to finish it up, means we can move it to migrate it to some other resources or some other systems. So this diagram represent load balancer in grid environment. Next one is data management. Grid access to secondary storage, GASS. I will explain you in the later. This diagram represents GASS, data management. Data management. Data management is used to as, store your data to the particular available data storage unit whenever you want, wherever you want, whoever want. It will assign the resources. It will give the data to particular resources or particular users. It is responsible for moving files and data to various nodes within the grid. It is responsible for moving files and data to various nodes within the grid. Job and resource management. Grid resource allocation manager, GRAM. Okay, we can call it it is a protocol actually. Grid resource allocation manager. Grid resource allocation manager, GRAM. It is a protocol. It is used to allocate jobs to resources, monitor the status of the job, allocate the job to resources, identify the ideal resources while executing. All are under control of job and resource management. So this diagram represent uh, GRAM, job management. Here this is GASS, data management. This is GRAM, job management. Providing the services to launch a job on a particular resource, checking the job status, retrieve the results when the job is complete. Once a job is complete means it receives the status from that particular resource and then forwarded to higher level. Next we are going to discuss about grid architecture. Grid applications often involves a large amount of data and computing resources that require secure sharing across organizational boundaries. This makes grid application deployment and management a complex understanding. So this diagram represents the grid architecture. There are several layers involving in grid architecture. A bottom layer is fabric layer, next to connectivity layer, next to resource layer, next to collective layer, at last application layer. Fabric layer is the bottom layer, application layer is a topmost layer in the grid architecture. We'll see one by one. First one is fabric layer. Fabric layer is the bottom layer or the lowest layer of the grid architecture. The fabric layer provides the resources to which the shared access is controlled by the grid protocol. That is very important. The fabric layer provides the resources to which the shared access is controlled by the grid protocols. The resources normally include physical resources or either logical entities. The physical resources are storage systems, catalogs, servers, network resources. The logical entities are distributed file system, computer cluster, distributed computer pool, and database systems to store structured data. Next one is connectivity layer. Okay, next layer is connectivity layer. Connectivity layer provides secure grid communication and authentication for specific network transaction. So connectivity layer mainly for communication and authentication. Connectivity layer assumes trust in based on user, not on service provider. Based on the user only, connectivity layer authenticate the user. Based on the author, based on the user, it is authenticating. Okay, it is authenticating. It uses public key infrastructure. This connectivity layer uses public infrastructure in it. User is recognized by the certificate authority. Okay, if you are a valid author, if you are a certified author, your username and your profile is certified, then only you can enter into grid environment within the grid and allows user to authenticate only once. Okay, no need to authenticate again. Once you authenticated, anytime you can enter without any authentication. Once you enter. Authentication protocols provide the secure mechanism to identify the resources and identify the users while communication between fabric resources possible due to communication protocols. So this authentication provide secure mechanism to identify the resources and the users. Not only resources, not only identify both. Okay, it identify the authenticated resources, authenticated users. These protocols enables to exchange the data between fabric layers resources. So it is mainly for used to exchange the data between fabric layers. Okay. So next layer is resource layer. So resource layer sharing a single resource. Okay, underline that word. Resource layer shares single resource only. Okay, it is main function. Resource layer needs access to resource such as invoke remote computation, monitor computation, discover resources, and to perform data transport. These are all the responsibility of resource layer. It shares a single resource only. Resource layer offers global globus grid resource allocation and management. That means GRAM. Globus monitoring and discovery services (MDS). Secure initiation, auditing, payment for sharing operation for a single resource. Okay, it offers GRAM protocol, MDS protocol, secure mechanism, auditing, payment. So all are for single resource. Okay, it provides all for single resource sharing. The grid resource layer builds on the connectivity layer to implement protocols that enable and sharing of individual resource. So these all are involving on a single resource only. The grid resource layer builds on the connectivity layer to implement protocols that enable and sharing of individual resources. Resource layer protocol, one is GRAM, Globus Resource Allocation Manager. It is a software component of the Globus toolkit that can locate, submit, monitor, and cancel jobs on grid computing resources. This is a protocol actually. GRAM is a protocol. It is used to locate a resource or locate job, submit the job or submit the resources, monitor the job, and cancel the job on the grid computing resources. That is the role of, that is the work of GRAM. It provides reliable operation, stateful monitoring, credential management, and file staging. Next protocol is MDS. monitor and discovery system. This monitoring and discovery system components for monitoring and discovering resources and services. It is used to monitor the available resources and allocate the jobs to resources. Grid computing resources and services can advertise a large amount of data for many different purposes. Next protocol is Grid FTP. Grid FTP is an extension of the file transfer protocol for a grid computing. The protocol was defined within the Grid FTP working group of the Open Grid Forum. There are multiple implementations of the protocol. The most widely used is Globus Toolkit. Next layer is collective layer. It is responsible for interaction across a collection of resources and overall resource management. This is responsibility of this layer is to interaction of across a collection of resources and overall resource management. So we collected a number of resources. We need to communicate with each other. This layer is the responsible for communicating with each collected resources. The grid collective layer focuses on the coordination of multiple resources. The collective layer includes data replication services, scheduling services, monitoring and diagnostic services. This layer is different from the resource layer in the sense while resource layer concentrate on the interaction with a single resource, this layer helps in coordinating multiple resources. Last layer is application layer. These are the user applications that operate within virtual organization environment. VO means virtual organization environment, which includes applications in science, engineering, business, finance, and more, as well as portals and development toolkits to support the applications. So this is the layer that grid users see and interact with. Okay, it is a application. This application layer is used to interact with the user. This is layer that the grid users see and interact with it. It also consists of grid programming environment, other software which supports direct access file and database. Grid computing makes more resource advantages of grid computing. Grid computing makes more resources available to more people and organizations while allowing these responsible for the IT infrastructure to enhance resource balancing, reliability and manageability. When you deploy a grid, it will be to meet a set of business requirements. That is the main advantage for business people. Grid computing aims to make all computing resources available constantly on a 24 by 7 basis. Many large corporations such as Boeing, Pratt and Whitney are currently using computational grids to improve their operations. It is not centralized as there are no servers required except the control node which is just used for controlling and not for processing. Multiple heterogeneous mechanism, that is machines with a different operating system, can use single grid computing network. Sixth one, tasks can be performed parallelly across various physical locations and the users don't have to pay for it. Summary, what is grid computing? We already discussed. Why grid computing? Need of grid computing. Working procedure of grid computing. Grid topology. Types of grid computing. Grid applications. Grid architecture.